power, respect, truth, safety. Resilience and transformation.
About your candidacy run.
Okay.
So what strategies do you have to reduce the homelessness in DC?
That's a great question. I think one of the things that we need to do in order to reduce homelessness in the district, I think it's a threefold approach. One, we need to evaluate where our homeless origin is from, because in some of my studies I'm finding that because of some of the benefits in the district, we have people drifting from other states. Not to say that when they get here we don't take care of them, but we do need to identify that. I think part of that also too is that we need to take some of the vacant buildings that's in some of the wards that we can beautify and turn them into transitional homes, almost like that they are some type of school, that where they come in and there's a full wraparound service in there, where they can get mental health, where they can get anything that's ailing them. And then once we get them physically and mentally cleaned up and we get them at a place where they can go out and apply for jobs, that we send them out to places where they can apply, they can interview, they can get jobs, they can get back on their feet. We give them some type of expungement that they can go out into society and be successful in what they do and make sure that they're functional. And then we give them some type of turnaround time that they are to leave out, and we help them in transitioning into their homes. I think it's not a one-all, it's not a one-shop stop for that, but I think it's a threefold approach that we need to take with them. One, we need to identify where people are coming from. Two, we need to understand what caused the homelessness, because I believe everybody, including myself, is one fire, one situation away from being homeless ourselves. So I think that's how we start that. And then two, as once we get them in there, full wraparound service, that we give them the mental health, we give them all the things that's necessary for them to be functional. Because when it becomes to a family being broken apart like that, it creates so many other issues. And then after we've done that, we give them a platform where they can go out and get themselves a job, and we give them time into this facility so that they can get on their feet, and then we can launch them back into the mainstream.
Great answer. Okay, question number 2. How do you think you can help the seniors with regards to access to the support that they need?
Another great question. I think one of the things that our seniors are faced with in the district, one is, I talked a little bit briefly about it, is housing. So many seniors have brought houses in the district when housing was truly affordable. And now that the rate of our mortgages have increased, or the property value has increased, which infuriates a tax increase. I think that we need to, for the homeowners first, we need to put them in a protected class, that after they reach 65, that we freeze their outpay on taxes, and that taxes either maybe 25 or 50% of the gross of whatever is owed. And if that person passed on to glory and that house is passed down to a younger generation, then when that transition of the funds transferring, the district recoups the money that they put kind of almost on in a fund that they hold in until that house is sold, or that house is refied to the new owner that comes in. But I think we have to think logically with our elderlies, and we have to remember that they helped build this city. They worked for many years in this city, and unfortunately, the cost of living does not keep up with their social benefits. And I think outside of that, from housing situation, then we need to make sure that they receive fair and affordable health care, that they have places that they can go to stay active, that they can go places where they can enjoy themselves. And I think that we should have something just for elderlies that's over 65 and above, where they can go and receive the necessary exercise, if they need a massage, that they can understand immunity health and things of that nature. We don't do enough for our elderly who have paid homage for so many people to live the way they do in this area, and we don't do enough for them. And so those are some of the things that I want to do for the elderly.
Great answer. Okay, question number 3. Do you have a plan to create employment for all?
So a lot don't know my background. So I come from a manufacturing engineering background. I built large mainframe computers back in the late 70s. I was on an engineering team where we dealt with highly class Navy submarines. So that is my background in electronics and telecom is very extensive. So what I want to do in the district is I want to bring industry type career jobs, and I would say career type jobs, that where people can have jobs for the next 15, 20 years. We are moving into such a vast mainstream of technology, and technology can be right here. There's so many vacant buildings here that we can take advantage of, that we can turn into manufacturing plants, we can turn them into feeder plants where they support either car manufacturers, they support some of the other industries that are out here that are in desperate need of to having manufacturing here in the U.S. So with my background, I want to bring roughly about 15,000 jobs. There's another whole package that I'm working around recycling that I think that will bring the district an enormous amount of money from a recycling standpoint, but it also will create roughly around 3,000 jobs. So between the two, I'm thinking between 18 to 20,000 jobs.
Great answer. Now, what will make you the best candidate for the position you desire as a mayor?
I think I have a very vast background. I have a very, very intense business background. I've operated as vice president for a number of years, so that helps. I believe the other part of that is that running multiple states at one time, from a budgetorial standpoint, from an operational standpoint, and from an engineering standpoint. You got to understand that when you look at the district is just a conglomerate of operations that's rolled together. And I think also behind that of just looking at my financial background in running large-scale operations, meeting the budget on time, and also making sure that I don't miss the mark. Those things there, along with my care for the people, because at the end of the day, I don't want to forget that. Because no matter what I do, my mantra is, people don't care what you know until they know you care. So I want to serve the people, because at the end of the day, serving the people will serve the city.
Great. One last question. What change will be the biggest impact to the District of Columbia?
I believe my biggest change to the District of Columbia is that accountability as a green belt in Six Sigma, accountability, transparency, and those things will be hinged with my crime bill. I cannot talk about the district without not talking about the murder rate and the crime rate that's in the district. You know, we're carjackings are on the rise because cars are leaving the U.S. and going offshore. And we've got to get these things under control as a national place. But at the same time, in the district, we need to let the people that know that they're committing crimes, this is not the place to come, right? If you come here and you get caught, because you will, you're going to pay the consequences. There will be no longer us just letting people walk out of the jail. There will be no longer prosecutors saying this is not enough to prosecute them. We're going to make sure that our police are trained properly, that the case log is not so bagged up that the prosecutors can't deal with them. We want to make sure that when a case comes in to the city, that case is stickable, and then we begin the reconciliation, because it's just not about locking someone up, but it's about also reconciling that person and bringing that person to a place of rehabilitation. So I think from the crime standpoint, because that's number one in my mantra, and the things that I want to do, reducing the crime by 60%, and then the overall of dealing with the youth empowerment, because I don't want to do programs. I've heard enough about programs. We need to do some youth empowerment, giving them the power to make the difference that they so desperately want to do. And I think if we do those things there, at the end of the day, we will have a safer DC, we'll have a more vibrant DC, and then we will draw the right people into the district so the city can continue to grow financially, economically, and then it will be a place that everybody want to call home.
Well, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for your response. Is there anything that you want to tell the residents of Washington, D.C.?
The only thing I want to say to the residents of Washington, D.C. is this. You've had a lot of candidates over the years, and I can go all the way back and stop at my friend Marion Barry. He was the people's choice. I learned a lot working under him. I learned a lot when he interviewed me and he talked to me about reentry. So I would say to the people is this: give me the opportunity. You've given everybody the opportunity and they failed you. Give me an opportunity to bring my 4 pillars. My 4 pillars are transparency, health, economics, and education. Allow us to bring those things in. If the number one thing is reducing the crime by 60%. Hold me accountable, because everybody that's under my leadership will be held accountable to make a difference in a positive Washington, D.C.
Thank you.